Here we are at Drive Fest. So Drive Fest is the Canadian equivalent of the Goodwood Festival of Speed, where throughout this weekend's event, you'll see all kinds of cars blasting up the track, much like the hill climb at the Goodwood Festival. But you'll also see all kinds of other events. So as you would look around, you'll also see there's a show and shine going on. There's demonstrations where you can do test drives in a number of vehicles, take an exotic around the driver development track here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. All kinds of activities going on. I'll share them with you as I check out this event. I've been a car enthusiast all my life, and I've attended lots of shows, lots of events, lots of track days, but I've never actually been to this event. And it's going to be really interesting to check this out on a rainy day like today and a day that's not so rainy like tomorrow. If you're familiar with Mosport or Canadian Tire Motorsport Park at all, so where they're running the speed run, they're starting back at turn 5, between 5A and 5B. They're coming up through turn 4 and through turn 3, up through turn 2, up through turn 1, and that's where it's ending up here. The driver development track is being used for the exotic cars, where you rent the exotic cars and take some laps out with that. And other things are all located within here. In preparation for the Dream Car Speed Run, the cars are up in the grid area preparing to get on track in the order they'll drive down the track and then blast back up the track. There are 5 run groups. This is the hypercars and exotic groups, where you can see cars like this beautiful TVR, but also Lamborghinis, McLarens, and in the background you can see that beautiful yellow XJR. The wristbands are being checked to make sure that they're in the correct run group, and then they'll be heading on track right away. This car takes the car in order down the track to between what is usually corners 5A and 5B on the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park track. To make sure each car has a clean run, they're spaced apart to keep them from catching the car ahead of them.
70 So stealing a little bit of the technology from Formula One and better in the handling department,
The Aviva Monaco Pavilion is where all of the cars that you see on the Dream Car Speed Run are parked between their runs. There's 5 run groups consisting of American Muscle Car and JDM, race cars, hypercars and exotics, VARAC vintage race cars, Porsche German icons, European and motorcycles, and the time attack for the practice runs. We'll see these cars on track very soon, and more importantly, we'll hear these cars. And that's one of the great things about this event, is you actually get to hear these cars, not just look at them looking beautiful in different pictures. And this Lamborghini definitely was on track, and a great unique sound, but it doesn't compare at all to this Cobra replica. The sound is just amazing. In addition to the cars you'll see on track, the Aviva Monaco Pavilion also has displays from various car groups, including numerous exotics and near exotics like Mercedes-Benz, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ford GTs, JDM cars, and much, much more. This gorgeous pair of white Lambos are the tip of the iceberg of the exotics on display. White is definitely the prominent color here. As you can see on this gorgeous Rolls Royce, this Lambo, and of course this Bugatti. And of course this breathtaking Ferrari. As well as this gorgeous Ferrari GTO. And they look as good going as they do coming toward you. This Porsche Cabrio has an amazing body kit. Super good looking car. These time attack cars that are amongst the group that are going to be competing at the end of the day on Sunday are eager to get on the track. There's also a group of rally cars on display, and we'll see a couple of them on track for their Dream Car Speed Run a little later in this video. The Canadian Sport Compact Series booth encouraged participants to use their car's performance responsibly on the track where it belongs. This beautiful BMW 2002 is just one of the many gems sprinkled around the Aviva Monaco Pavilion. And so was this fantastic TVR Cimarron. You definitely don't see one of those every day. What a beauty, and we'll get to see it on the track and hear it on the track a little later in this video. These radical race cars are not just for show. We'll see them blasting up the track, again, a little later in the same video as part of the Time Attack Run Group. Premium off-road vehicles are well represented with the new Grenadier and Land Rovers on display. These look like they're ready for the rough stuff with some trick mods and add-ons that just might be more for show than off-road go. I love this new Lotus Emira. It's looking just great in that beautiful shade of blue. And as promised, here's that TVR we saw earlier leading the pack of cars during the Dream Car Speed Run. And surprisingly, they're still running the cars in the rain, even though it's got to be super slippery out there. But as long as we don't get fog or we don't get lightning, they're still running. Some of the vintage race cars are taken to the track. And as you can see, there's lots of spectator space to check it all out for yourself. The VARAC, or Vintage Auto Racing Association of Canada group, has brought some fantastic racing machinery for everyone to check out when they're not on the track. Everything from Mustangs, a couple of McLarens, a Lola, this gorgeous Lotus Cortina. And you just gotta love this gorgeous Lotus 11. And this amazing Porsche 356 race car. We can also see this very bare bones and bare aluminum Lotus 6 that, to me, looks exactly like a Lotus 7. And we've got this much more modern looking Lotus. And you just gotta love the paint scheme on this Lotus 7. This Crossley 20F Formula Ford is exactly the same as the one in which we learned to race back when I attended Jim Russell Racing School in the late 70s. With its quick change gear set and Ford 1600cc engine, they were a great vehicle in which to learn. And there's been lots of interest in the vintage race cars here today, especially under this tent when it's pouring rain. Just love this early 60s Alva Courier race car, which we'll be seeing on track just a little bit later. Check out that very Spartan interior. Everybody loves to see a Morgan Plus 4, especially an early one like this 57 that the owner told me he has owned for over 65 years. So kudos to the organizers. This event runs rain or shine. So even though it's raining right now, not hard, but it definitely is raining, we still got some of the exotics out on the track. Pfaff Group brought a couple of truly beautiful new McLarens. As well as Porsche's first exotic car, the 959. Now if they decide to make another Barbie movie, I definitely suggest she drives the Singer Targa. It looks custom made just for her. Here's something I'll bet you've never seen before. I know I sure haven't. It's an old International.
Running consistently, and that's essentially what would be the racing line. They started to dry up exit.
Very cool. Lots of really cool stuff here on Vendor Row. And did someone mention motorcycles? Not just any motorcycles, Aprilia motorcycles. Very cool. And something a little bit more common, Kawasaki. Certainly is a lot to check out here, especially if you're into performance. Well, I guess Drive Festival, you're going to be talking performance, aren't you? And there's car clubs present, and of course one of the biggest car clubs, and Corvettes are a big deal at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, a real performance champion, and definitely an amazing machine to be on track with. A lot of really cool stuff the vendors have here. I love that at 99% it's automotive related, performance automotive related. And there's always lifestyle vendors like NOS, energy drink, and again, super cool displays. And this part of the show is called Electric Avenue for obvious reasons. And we can see the Tesla going through the process. And here we can see one of the clubs that's here, the Tesla Owners Club. Lots more electric vehicles all lined up here. This new Genesis GV70 was on display. Much, much better looking than that horrible GV80. Yeah, especially from the back. I just love the color and the look of this Lambo. Even if it does look a little bit, well, you know, like a Barbie car. And you mentioned food. Oh yeah, there's food. This Cobra replica spent a lot of time on the track during this event. So the pace car is now taking the vintage race cars down the track for their blasts up the track. Sky is looking a little bit dark here though. That large screen TV made it much easier to tell where the cars begin their runs and when they would be popping around the corner. Also, I have to admit, the play-by-play by the announcers was much appreciated too throughout the event. The Alpha Courier leads this run group up the track. Great to enjoy the sound of these vintage race cars. Surprisingly, the sound of the rear-engine, air-cooled Porsches was almost the same as the other cars. This little Formula Ford is so light and agile compared to the rest, even the Lotus 7s. But boy, that Shelby sounds mean. A couple of times we were treated to a couple or even 3 cars released together. It was a run group that did include motorcycles, but only one was on track. And it's always super cool to see an old Rolls Royce out and about. A beautiful Shelby GT350.
Wet conditions, but because it's a rally car, it doesn't really electric, but how long does the battery last? Well, it lasts at least, and you can get a good up close look at that.
Make 900 on wheel. Yeah, and this one,
Does that mean it's a Frankie Harding? So this is all about power to weight. A lot of...
Another group of cars heading back down the track for another blast backup.
And the organizers were actually in the water.
This group is going to grid. They'll be on track soon. Not your typical track car. This 2004 Toyota Century V12 on its way to be driven by James from Throttle House as the Time Attack cars come back to their parking spots. So we're over at the performance track or driver development track, and GTA Exotics is here, and people have signed up for taking the cars out, doing a few laps around this driver development track here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And as you can see, it's pretty popular. And they send you out with a coach to make sure you don't do anything really stupid, but also to guide you around the track. For a lot of folks, this will be the first time on the track, but especially with some of this amazing machinery that's here. My favorite, this GT3 RS. That's a That's a beauty. And we're getting some rain, but looks like the cars are still going out. We got a Radical over here and a very racy looking Lambo. And an amazing looking Aston Martin in a very Aston Martin-like color. Mustang convertible, 5-liter. And this is the Autocross track where they're going to be taking some folks out. Just make a small donation. I guess it's a charitable donation. I'm not sure what. But then you get a chance to get a ride with a pro driver, or semi-pro driver, someone that knows what they're doing anyway, out on the track. These rides must have been lots of fun and likely very, very entertaining. The passenger here really loves it, and I'm sure he got his money's worth. Due to the rain, the go-kart experience was shut down temporarily when we passed by. But that was about the only thing at this event that was affected by the rain to any degree. Lots of vehicles, both as pickups and SUVs, were available to be sampled on the outdoor track. Great time to check out that new Grenadier. Judging by the smiles, people just seem to love them. And the off-road part of this event is super popular, I have to admit, much more popular than I thought it would be. We got lots of folks lining up to take drives out, test drives in a lot of the all-wheel drive vehicles, like this new Grenadier. And we've got all kinds of vehicles here, Jeeps, we've got Fords, Nissans, Kias. They're all out on this off-road track. And here we have the Kawasaki ride-along. It's on ATVs. Looks like a lot of fun, but really muddy today. I guess with that rain we had yesterday. And they're off. And we have the family fun zone. Great way to introduce kids to the car hobby and just get them involved in something other that involves a screen and a joystick. And the Micro Mobility Expo. And we're working our way through the crowds here. And we're on to the Hagerty Show and Shine. A couple of everyone's favorite Brits, the MG GT and the Jag XKE Coupe. These coupes sometimes look a little odd, but the white on this XKE makes this one look absolutely fantastic, at least in my opinion. Lots of American iron in this lineup. Looks like some good old-fashioned speed equipment here. A very unique and artistic wrap on this Genesis. I don't know about you, but I've never even heard of a charade. These aftermarket wheels look fantastic on this BMW i8. A very colorful row of absolute beauties. Thomas and James from Throttle House stopped by for a meet and greet, although it pretty much looks like all 3 million of their YouTube subscribers lined up to see them here. Several car manufacturers were on site with new cars to check out, like this 2025 Nissan Kicks. And although test driving was available, you would likely get better test drive when you visit your dealership at home. Click here for your next car show video, and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments? Add them down below.